Hi, my fellow YouTube dweller. How are you? I hope you're doing well. And if you're not doing so well right now and you're going through something, I hope one way or another you're gonna make it. And it's gonna be alright. Eventually. Someday. And again, I'm here talking about this stuff I decided was worth putting out there on YouTube for everyone to see. And when I say everyone, I mean a couple of my best friends and my mom. And honestly, this is totally enough. So thank you guys. Love you. Thanks. I wanted to talk about artistic self-expression as the way to cope with sadness. I don't have a particularly fascinating story of how did I come up with this topic. But as a fellow ADHD owner, usually ideas pop up in my brain without me controlling them. I'm super used to doing 3 or more things at once. Like right now, I'm trying to write down the script for this video. I'm thinking about the amount of time I have to clean up my house, what I'm going to cook, and when I'm going to sleep. And I'm planning it and listening to a podcast. My mind is used to diversifying all the bodily functions from each other. It always gives me a freedom to do the stuff I want to do or usually have to do as an adult, like my job, groceries, and etc. And then leaves some space for itself. So it's always working on some kind of things and ideas, thinking about plots of the movies, interesting books to read, ideas that can be challenged, revenge fantasies. I mean, having ADHD is a blessing and a curse all at the same time. Sometimes it gets me in trouble and sometimes it presents me with fun opportunities and adventures. It all depends. But that's a whole other story. Maybe for another video. We'll see. Oh, just a tiny note outside of the topic I'm going to talk about, and I have not started yet, and I'm kind of sorry, is that I've recently decided to organize my ADHD-driven mind, and whenever I'll come up with any kind of idea for a topic to draw or write or talk about, I'm just going to write it down and scribble it in my notebook. Hope this new thing will work out, and I won't forget the ideas I want to write down. So let's begin. I've stumbled upon this quote a couple of days ago. It belongs to none other than the master of color and genius of artistic expression himself, Vincent van Gogh. And it says, "If you hear a voice within you say, 'You cannot paint,' then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced." That was a very interesting quote and made me think a lot about art and the process of creation and life itself. Art in its various shapes and sizes has a huge impact on human behavior. It is interactive and deeply connected to its creator and the viewer. We subconsciously strive for something so much more every single day as developing and ever-learning entities. The process of creation grants feeling of balance between materialistic and something very deep and subconscious. And in a way, art becomes a perfect tool, a coping mechanism with sadness, everyday hardships, sometimes unending existential dread, and life in general, through self-disciplinary repeated action of creation. This brings us to Vincent. Vincent van Gogh, if you don't know, was a Dutch painter born on a sunny day of July 29th, 1853. Born into an upper-middle-class family, Van Gogh drew as a child and was serious, quiet, and thoughtful. As a young man, he worked as an art dealer, often traveling, but became depressed after he was transferred to London. His early works, mostly still lifes and depictions of peasant laborers, contain few signs of the vivid color that distinguished his later work. As his work developed, he created a new approach to still lifes and local landscapes. His paintings grew brighter in color. Van Gogh suffered from psychotic episodes and delusions and thought he worried about his mental stability. He often neglected his physical health, did not eat properly, and drank heavily. Van Gogh was unsuccessful during his lifetime and was considered a failure. He became famous after his tragic death and exists in the public imagination as the quintessential misunderstood genius, the artist where discourses on madness and creativity converge. During his artistic years, as his art developed, he was moving more and more towards post-impressionism. This movement was a rebellious reaction against classic impressionistic concerns for the naturalistic depiction of shapes and lights. It is a predominantly French art movement that developed roughly between 1886 and 1905. The followers of this movement loved playing with geometric forms, expressive colors, and vivid, distorted figures. The whole point of the movement was to transcend whatever the eye sees and turn the brushstrokes into a colorful, crazy articulation of one's inner thoughts and feelings, the ones that are hidden deeply in one's heart. Basically, post-impressionists extended impressionism while rejecting its limitations. Van Gogh was a true master of his trade. He spectacularly sculpted colors and gave them that indescribable emotional impact that to this day is absolutely awe-striking. Vincent van Gogh used color and vibrant, swirling brushstrokes to convey his feelings and his state of mind. This man was a mad lad, in the best and worst way possible. As I've said previously, he suffered a lot, and he described it in many letters he wrote to his brother Theo. Nevertheless, he was able to take those hardships and turn them into something that transcended time. He turned himself into the art that he has created. Lonely nights enlightened by stars, peaceful emptiness of vast summer fields, distinguishable superiority of natural landscapes, and human emotions caught in saddened glances of portraits that he drew. There's something so magical in his ability to turn that inner turmoil and pain he felt in something so spectacular and colorful. He worked every single day, worked on his skills, religiously searching for the perfect color combinations. In just over a decade, he created about 2,100 artworks. Nevertheless, he considered most of his works as attempts or just simple sketches. Vincent was usually very picky, so he did not put his signature on most of his artwork, evaluating them as not having any special value. But he would write his name on his favorite artworks, just simply Vincent, to highlight that intimacy and comfort that exists between the artist and his or her creation. He was driven by the journey of artistic discovery of one's emotions. And now, can you imagine that the genius like Vincent van Gogh had that voice in him that told him he could not paint? Can you imagine if he decided to listen to it and never paint again? We would never see the richness of colors that only Vincent could have created. We would never be able to see and feel whatever he was going through during creation of his sunflowers. He has created a bridge between him and us just by expressing himself through art. The creation of work of art is the bringing about of a new combination of elements in the medium, like tones in the music, words in literature, paints on canvas, and so on. The elements existed beforehand, but not in the same combination. Creation is the reinformation, it's reformation of these pre-existing materials. As a conclusion, you can say that you should never listen to that voice. Create your own artistic journey through self-expression. Do it. Don't be embarrassed by lack of techniques or knowledge. It all will come with discipline and the frequency you're drawing. Be open to your feelings and how you express them. In the end, self-expression is the taking of an internal impulse, a personal vision, and through self-awareness putting it into external form. Writing, acting, painting, dancing, sculpting, filmmaking, singing, These are the wings upon which artists have flown from time and time again and again and again. Self-expression and creativity are universal functions of the human experience. We are all creative, and we all have the need to express ourselves. We should do it. You should do it. Go ahead and try. Make yourself happy by self-expressing yourself in any artistic form. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked what you saw and heard, please subscribe to my channel for more content like that. I'm experimenting with this format, with the things I draw and talk about. It's a very educational thing I'm doing. I'm loving it. And if you have any ideas and constructive feedback, feel free to comment below. Also, I've linked some of my social media. I post stuff on Instagram too, sometimes drawings that I did not film and just felt like drawing. Have a nice day, have a nice evening. Thank you for watching my video again. Have fun. Bye bye.